Hello, we are Geeks Assembled, and it's Doctor Who night here again at the Geeks Tower. And tonight we are going to be talking about Enemy of the World with Patrick Troughton as the Doctor and Salamander. Let's jump straight into it. Let's go to Susie.
Okay.
That got you out.
I'm not really fond of this episode. I think it just goes too long. I wish that they had gotten to the part about the underground tunnel sooner and drew that part out longer. It was just the build-up was a little too long for me. But I think Patrick Troughton is wonderful in this. He does kind of sound like a nasal Ricardo Montalban, but that's okay. And it's a good, solid classic Who. Not my favorite, but it was good watching.
Wow.
Yeah, it was exciting.
Let's go.
So exciting. Could be more Salvation if you would like.
You need to. It's a brilliant episode. Can we do that again? It's a really brilliant, amazing episode.
Okay, I'll say that.
Yep.
Take two. It's a
Yeah,
really
take two.
amazing. I can't do it.
Take three. Take three. Take three.
I can't do it. Sorry.
Okay. Let's go to Philip.
It's a really brilliant, amazing episode.
Oh, thank you, Susan. Let's go to Philip.
Right, when this was originally found, it came with what? Web of Fear.
Web of Fear, yeah.
Yeah, everyone always was crowing about how wonderful it would be to see Web of Fear, and for me personally, I found Enemy of the World more interesting than watching the Web of Fear because it was something I'd never seen before. And then when I first did it, I remember being so sort of like, wow, when you saw Patrick Troughton when he first landed, he takes his clothes off and jumps into the sea like a little schoolboy. And I thought that was really wonderful. The story itself, right, it's very intriguing because you've got Patrick Troughton doing double duty, playing Salamander and the Doctor himself, and it's wonderful how easy he can switch accents.
Yes.
And the way he plays Salamander, it's so believable. A different character from the Doctor. You can separate the two quite easily and think he's not, Patrick Troughton playing somebody else. It's just a new character. The story was okay. The only part that I found a bit odd with the story, because it's got a kind of spy-esque thing about it, then it goes into that bit where the people are living underground, doing all the volcanoes. It kind of took me out of it. That part of it took me out of it, because it didn't seem to fit with the whole of the narrative for me slightly. It's kind of weird. And then, what else? Then you had the wonderful Astrid Perth with a big old booth on hairdo and a tight clothing. Lovely. I liked her character. I thought she was wonderful, as well as from the black chick, right? I mean, she was really good, and I was a bit upset when they shot her. I thought it was a bit violent, to be honest, to see her get shot like that. And the way that the bloke that played in Doctor Who before, he's a horrible Weasley creature. I can't remember the name of his character.
Lee Wilson.
Yeah, Lee Wilson. What a Weasley nasty. You just look instant dislike to that character completely.
Yeah, the rest of us do as well.
Yeah. And the big chunky guy with the glasses.
Jake, yeah.
Yeah, Jake, right. I liked him. He's my favourite because he was all like...
Oh, you did? All right. I thought you were going to insult him as well. Damn it.
He was very good fan, but also very good. But it's a brilliant story, and I can anybody who hasn't seen it, please go and watch it because it's really well done and it's fantastic. And at the end, the ending, what an ending! Where Salamander gets sucked out of the TARDIS into the time vortex.
We love a good ending, especially with somebody being sucked out.
I'm getting flush now. Okay, well that's my part done. Thank you.
No, thank you, darling. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous,
gorgeous.
Right. Yeah, I've got to say, this is better than Web of Fear. I think it is. I like the story more and everything. Let's go to Jake, though. See what Jake thinks.
This is one of my favourite Troughton stories. I'm going to agree with what Philip said. But when the two were announced, Enemy of the World and Web of Fear, I was more excited about Web of Fear. But when I ended up watching them both, I much preferred Enemy of the World than Web of Fear, because I find Web of Fear ridiculoly dull.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I can't sit through it. But Enemy of the World, it's like a James Bond story in Doctor Who. It's so un-Doctor Who that it works. And obviously, you've got this fantastic character of Salamander. I really like the idea of someone that looks at the Doctor. This is the second time they've done it in Doctor Who. They also did it in the Massacre of William Hartnell. But this is interesting. It's not having the Doctor's evil doppelganger. And it's worked so well. And Charlton was phenomenal in this episode. What range he showed to go from this really horrible, nasty human being to this really kind and cuddly Time Lord. It is great. I love it.
Yep. All right. Let's go to Susan.
My enjoyment of this is because of Patrick Troughton and because of Fraser Hines, because of their interplay, and Jamie and Victoria have to infiltrate the personal,
Salamander's home, yeah.
no, just the personal service of Salamander, and by doing that, they become privy to all of his inner workings. And Patrick Troughton did an amazing job in The Omen. He can play in horror movies. He can play dramatic baddies like he did in The Six Lives of Henry VIII. He's quite he's got quite a big depth of he can play evil. Let's see, the things that I liked about this, I liked that it was set last year or 2 years ago, was it? 2018, I think is what they said that this episode is set in, and it seems like kind of prophetic in that there's someone evil trying to take over the world. There's all these volcanoes and eruptions and earthquakes and things, and in that it's amazing, like that prescience of the episode is quite incredible. And the other things that I liked about it, the thing that I didn't like about, I'll wait till we get to that point in the podcast.
Yep, hold fire. We'll get on to favourite moments and dislikes in a minute, but let's go to our dear leader, Lee. Our Lord and Savior. Bow to the dear leader.
Before...
praise the dear leader.
Oh, praise the great one.
Praise the great one.
Yeah, okay.
Offer a sacrifice.
Well,
we offer you Philip Archer from Tottenham.
Right,
You are not second me, man. Get out of it.
Before the episodes were rediscovered, we only had episode 3 in the BBC archive, and we judged this story on just that one episode. And out of the 6 episodes, episode 3 is the dully, and this is why we always thought Enemy of the World is going to be a quite dull story. And this is why everybody thought Web of Fear, wow. Once you put all the episodes together, this is a damn good story. Yeah. Episode 3 is still a bit dull, but it is one of Troughton's best. And thankfully we've got all 6 episodes to judge it on. The performances in it are brilliant. And the way he swaps from Salamander to the Doctor is absolutely awesome. And for me, it proves as well that Troughton's Doctor was the most childlike, as Phillips mentioned, running onto the beach, well, get the sand and buckets. He's the most childlike of all the doctors, in my opinion. One of the best doctors.
Yeah.
I can only count maybe 3 or 4 of the actors who've played the Doctor to be up there at the top.
Jodie Whittaker.
No.
Are you kidding? Ugh, anyway.
No,
That's what Lee thinks.
no, I don't. But yeah, it's a political story. And I'm not very politically
Very political. I was surprised, Lee, because you always say no politics, and then you go and pick a very political story.
Well, as we know, Doctor Who's always been political.
Oh yeah, very political. Yeah.
And also as well, it proves you don't need bug-eyed monsters. The monster in this is Salamander, of course, but he was human. You don't need a green skilled monster to be the monster of the week.
Oh, see you, Philip. It's been great having you, but apparently we don't need you anymore. So I'd like to say thank you for joining us. And
set in Australia, and I mean, I know, okay, it's mostly filmed on a beach in Wales.
Wales, yes, yeah. No, it'd be London.
But you do sort of get the feel of Australia in the story because the actors are giving off the accent. And I know Ali's mostly going to say something, but I'm going to get there first. There is a lot of shouting in this.
A lot of shouting men, yes. The men are very, very shouty, which I pointed out in the chat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I got it in before you did.
Yeah. Beat me to it.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't knock any of the acting. The acting in this is brilliant. For me, it's 6 parts. I always say 6 parts is sometimes too long for Doctor Who stories, but for me, this one flies by. I mean, I rewatched this during the week. I just did 2 episodes per night, and that was a lot easier than watching it in one go. But yeah, a very enjoyable story. One of Troughton's best. I'd put that in his top 5, to be honest.
Yes.
And Salamander. I mean, I might be disappointed with the way they got rid of Salamander. It was too quick for my liking. They could have drawn that little bit out more in the tardis.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
It was just, and it was out. That was a bit.
But was that just terrifying though? When he's being sucked out, you got the sound effect of him being sucked out, and it's like wow, and he's screaming.
He just wants to say that word.
I just can't believe that Philip is talking to me about being sucked out.
And he's moaning about he wanted it to last longer.
Yeah, but that's my only gripe with that. I thought maybe the ending of the villain was a bit too quick. But apart from that, it's a brilliant story. So over to you, Alid.
He was sucked out a bit too quickly. That's what you're trying to say. To sum it up, a story of your life, yeah. I prefer this to the Web of Fear. This is, like Jake said, this is like James Bond. It's so awesome, and it doesn't feel like any other Patrick Troughton story. It just is amazing. I can watch this again and again, and it's still good. There's quite a lot of action in it, especially in episode 1, which is really good. I really like. It still holds up really well, I think, visually and everything like that. This is definitely one of the best Troughton stories, and I don't feel like it drags at all. I mean, I suppose there's scenes that you could have just slimmed down, but you always get that with 6-parters. But apart from that, this is a really solid story, and I can imagine at the time this being so exciting to watch this, because it does look good now, and it's exciting now. Imagine what it was like when it aired in the 60s. I bet this was really exciting stuff. All the characters, I love this TARDIS team. I love Jamie especially. He's brilliant. Fraser Hines is. Patrick Troughton is the standout character in this. But I love the side characters as well. The shouty men. They're all they're shouty men are all very good. They shout a lot, but they're all very, very good. Patrick Troughton playing Salamander is amazing. My God, he is brilliant. Yeah, this is a real solid classic Doctor Who story, and I think it's up there with Tomb of the Cybermen for Patrick Troughton, and it's probably for me probably his second best story. The Web of Fear, I'm not a big fan of. Not a massive fan. I think that's overrated, but this one deserves all the praise that it gets because it is so good, and especially for the time. But even today, like I say, it stands up today. I mean, all the characters, like all the characters. I mean, yeah, if it was written today, it'd be written differently, obviously, because the women would have more to do, etc. But apart from that, it's a fantastic story of Doctor Who, and that's all you want.
I disagree about Web of Fear. I really liked Web of Fear as well, but
I think that does suffer from one episode is missing, in a way. But I think that it is too long, too many parts. That one didn't need to be so many. Where this one, I'm quite happy with it being 6
Didn't
parts.
feel like 6 parts to me.
No,
well, all of the serials at that point were running about 6 episodes long, and that was just like standard.
that's what it was. Yeah,
standard Doctor Who fare.
I mean, the trick to that is to keep the script cracking along. If it's 6 parts, and that's what any of the world does. It keeps it cracking along without making you feel so bored with it. Whereas Web of Fear has a certain slowdown bits to it, and that's what makes it a bit like, oh, okay. This
and
is
the Doctor's not sure if Salamander's good or bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really interesting. Like, well, you know, is he really this tyrant leader? You know, is he really this dictator?
You get the feeling from this that for me personally, you get the feeling like it's someone like Ian Fleming wrote this because you mentioned the James Bond feeling about it.
Yeah.
Of a villain controlling the volcanic eruptions on the planet, and you think it's very James Bond-esque, and you do get the feeling that Ian Fleming could have wrote something like this. But you say
really, Salamander was just missing a pussy, and
controlling the economics and the whole political spectrum on the planet at the time was being dominated by Salamander. He wasn't just small potatoes, and those people that he was torturing by keeping them hidden underground. I mean,
yeah,
that was super ugly and creepy and stuff.
What was your favorite moment, Susan? You were going to mention. Oh no, you're going to mention something you disliked, did you?
I didn't like the fact that throughout the whole series, the people underground were first of all, none of the actors were credited in any of the even I mean, there was Mary and they weren't credited, and that's a bad deal. And then the other thing is that they were they didn't spend enough time down there in the underground moving parts, and talking about these people that he was basically experimenting on. I mean, that was intense and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to Jake for favorite moments or least favorite moments, whatever.
I like a bit at the end, to be honest, when they sucked Salamander out of TARDIS. I know. And when
he just wanted to mention something.
And when those horrible people come in and smashes all those blokes' plates, and Troughton gives that famous quote, people spend so many times making nice things just for people to come along and break them. I really like that line, and that's my favourite stuff in the episode.
Yeah, that's a good line. Yeah. Let's go, Susie. She's muted.
I'm unmuted. Okay. Well, I did like when he went swimming in the ocean. Loved when Salamander got put out of the TARDIS. I wish they had drawn that part out. I would have liked to have seen more togetherness in the TARDIS, doing more evilness and stuff. That would have been fun. They could have made that a lot longer, because it happened a lot fast, and it was such a good moment. I did like the blonde chick. What'd you call her? Astrid. Those were some tight pants. Holy crap! And she had a bouffant that never moved. It was totally 60s. It was great. And I also liked the food taster lady. She was really elegant and
Yes.
just very smart and knew how to play it close to her chest. And I really thought the women had a lot to do in this one.
Yeah.
They were very instrumental in everything.
Carmen
And
Monroe played the Faria or Faria.
she was wonderful.
Yes, it was Carmen. Well done. Thank you, Susan. I couldn't remember her name properly. I thought it was
I know Jake rudely didn't answer you before.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did say I said Philip.
okay. Well, back to me.
Because it's all about you, dear.
It's all right now. It is. Anyway, so what was I going to say? It was just lots of things to like about it. The overall, it's amazing to me how far we have not come in 2020, because this episode would be so timely if it happened right
Well, we're
now.
in May now, dear.
Right.
We're a few months in.
It would be so timely if it happened right now, and because of that, it was almost weird watching it, because I'm thinking, oh my God, is that happening? Is that happening? Because I could see all of that happening, except Salamander is smart, so there's that. Anyway, he's smart and not orange. So,
How do you know it's black and white?
That's true. He could be, and he could be wearing too much sunblock because he supposedly. And why, in gosh name, is he supposedly from Mexico? How did that happen? It was very weird. I don't know. I didn't like that. The whole accent thing got to me a little bit. I'm not sure why that was where it was. I would have
The
liked
Mexicans are evil.
Well, this is my point. Why would they do that? I would have liked to see more background into
Donald Trump called it, let's build a wall around them.
Oh, they're still doing that apparently. Let's not go down that road. Lots of underhanded stuff. So I would have liked to see more into Salamander's character, how he got to where he was, what he was. And I think that if there had been more of that in the first half of the 6 episodes, I think I would have enjoyed it a little more. And but yeah, Patrick Troughton jumping in the river. It's really nice when they give us these glimpses of the fun side of the Doctor, even if it's a serious episode. I really did enjoy that. And I liked the fact that, he was clued into the other villain. What was that guy's name? The guy that was in on it with Salamander and wanted to kill him?
Fennec, played by Milton Johns.
Right. He was clued in. I was not clued into him. I was not. And I generally get clued in really fast, but I didn't have a clue about this one. So, but he was, and it was really very interesting. He wouldn't say, he wouldn't kill, he wouldn't do all this. I didn't understand why they sent the 2 companions into such danger to do the research. That was kind of bizarre. But anyway, for a Classic Who episode, it was really good, and it was not. Sometimes in Classic Who you see monsters that are kind of, well, for lack of a better term, laughable, and there weren't any of those in this. This one was really. I think this episode is kind of timeless in a way, other than the costumes and stuff. But the message and what they said, I don't think you would need that many changes to the script to do it now. And in that sense, it was really good. I think it's worth a watch. Is it my favorite episode? No. But Tomb of the Cybermen is my favorite Troughton episode. But this one was really good. Wake up, Alan!
Oh, so what's going on?
I'm done!
Where were we?
It was falling asleep. It was funny.
Yeah, okay.
We're in Doctor Who.
You've actually done.
cues. Yes.
Bloody hell! Let me stick a fork into you just to check.
You can see my face is red.
Right. Let's go. We've been to Philip, haven't we? Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go to Lee. Our dear leader, bow. Our dear leader, our dear leader, our dear leader, our dear leader.
Shucks, stop it.
Share. You do not have bow to share. Share.
Share, I will bow to. We all bow to Share.
We all bow to share. We all bow to the dear leader now. Dear leader.
Oh my God!
Bow to Share.
I bet you haven't had this much of a workout in years, Philip.
Right. Yeah, to bring something up what Susie.
Oh God!
Yeah, to bring something up what
You have
Susie
an
just.
heart attack.
Hey,
The good thing about this is, as Susie mentioned, she didn't understand why about the companions being put into danger.
Yeah,
I
but she
quite
doesn't
like-
understand much. to
No,
be
no,
honest.
I'm saying I quite like that because it was a bit, it wasn't the norm.
But it's good because it makes them feel like they've got more to do.
Victoria,
That's true.
Victoria always used to stand there and scream, and Jamie was just by the side of the doctor saying,
Yeah.
"What do you mean, doctor?" and all like that. This time they went out there on their own personal missions, and it was different, and it was good.
And matching skirts.
Yeah.
Susie, stop interrupting him.
I know, and he, as Jamie said, Victoria was a good dishwasher.
Yeah. You always need a good dickery.
What? I did like some of the quotes. One of the quotes is where the doctor mishears someone on the phone and says, "A disused jetty."
Yes.
Made me laugh. I just like it all. It is a good standalone part of Doctor Who history. I'd be quite happy if we never found,
Jake.
No.
If we never found Jake.
We may know where episode 3 of Web of Fear is, but if we never get that
Jake,
back,
give it back.
if we never get that back, I'll be quite happy anyway.
And give Philip's code back as well,
Anyway, the
please.
world for me is, far superior. I just like the whole concept of this thing, and Troughton's portrayal of two characters. All he had to do was comb his hair differently, put an accent on it, and you could just believe he was a different person.
Yeah.
And that is a sign of a good actor.
Yeah, like the front cover. If you look how mean he is as Salamander compared to how innocent he is as the Doctor. Yeah, but you can see how mean he is in this one. If you look at Salamander's face compared to the Doctor, and it looks like two different characters. It really does.
Yeah. What they actually did was they put eye dye on his eyebrows or something. That the dye on his eyebrows.
Yeah, to make him more fierce. Yeah.
Yeah, thicken them out. That's what they did, basically.
And also, as well, Salamander being Mexican, why not?
Yeah,
why not?
Why not? I mean, you've got to have a villain from some country, and it's usually it's the British one, the villain. So let's have a Mexican one,
or Russian,
or Russian, or Australian.
You would have thought it'd be with it being a James Bond kind of take. It would have been Russian.
Why would it?
Well, aren't they more Russian than James
Not
Bond?
not all the time.
Not all the time, exactly. Not all the time. I mean,
No.
and it's good to put things like Mexico on the map. To give
I
them...
think maybe, not for a very good reason. Let's be honest. I think probably because it's the only accent he could do.
Possibly, but it was very effective.
Could you imagine him doing it in Irish or something?
Oh my God.
Or Welsh?
I think I've heard Troughton do other accents with the other parts that he's played, right?
Well, I remember watching Troughton when he used to appear as a guest star in TV shows like The Persuaders and The Avengers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
he has played.
Don't nod when you don't know, Philip.
He has played foreign policemen and foreign crooks, and maybe it's been a Spaniard or something like that. So a Spaniard and Mexican is very similar.
Correct.
Yeah. What was you going to say, Philip?
I just said Spaniard. That's all. Spaniard. But never mind.
Okay,
And,
that's a very thank you for that contribution.
Like I contribute. Well, at least I contribute now.
Matron. Oh, you're gorgeous, darling. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous.
No, it's a slang word for slur, man. You bitch. Right, go on. Then. Carry
Right,
on.
let's go to final say and score. Let's go to Philip. We might as well.
Okay. Well, do you know what? Like I said, this is a standout serial of quite a lot of trout, as everybody said. And like I said, when I first saw it, I was blown away by it, and I'm still blown away by it because it shows how versatile Charlton is as an actor. And I'm gonna give this a 9.5.
I'm amazed. Philip has managed to get sucking and blowing in one cast.
X.
I mean, really.
Really?
Jake, were you blown away?
Oh, Susie's on the wine. It's a 9.
Oh, he's been thinking of that all night. You can
Oh,
tell.
but I don't have any wine right now. Remember? I'm waiting for it to be delivered.
All right then, Susan.
Okay.
Susan.
Oh, see, the wine is very close. I'm gonna give this an 8, a solid 8, because while I thought it was kind of slow the first 3 parts, it's a classic, timeless episode that could be done today very well, and something every Whovian should watch. There you have it.
Right, from one Susan to another Susan. That's good, Susan. Who is also.
I love this one, but I love this one in Web of Fear as well. I bought them at the same time. It was quite exciting to get my first classic Doctor Who on DVD. Were these 2 stories, and I will let's see. I'll give this a 9 out of 10. So much fun. And yes, Mexico, his accent is actually authentic. Did one of you guys said that he sounded like Ricardo Montalban, who is,
Yeah, I say it sounded like a little nasal Ricardo Montalban.
Yes. So yeah, that is it is good accent work. And
I would have laughed if Susan gone, that is totally incorrect.
No, I was listening to Susan and hearing what she said, and I'm gonna, I was gonna say one more thing, but it has slipped my mind. So we'll move on over to you.
Oh.
Oh, well, if you think of it again, we'll come back to you. Let's go to Lee.
Yeah, as I said,
Our dear leader, everybody, our dear leader. Come on, our dear leader. Where's he gone?
Alex.
Oh, he's doing the force. It's a force.
What? Anyways, it's one of his best. For me, as I said earlier on, episode 3 is the worst episode out of the 6. It is a slow episode. So on that note, it's a 9.5. Still a good, solid story.
Yeah. Oh, 9.5. That's good. I'm going to give it a 10 because I really think it's a great Doctor Who story. And it doesn't feel like, it feels like a James Bond story as well. And when I think about it, comparing it to other stories, even when I think of more modern stories, I still really like it. And I still think it holds up. And I still think it's an exciting, enjoyable watch. And I just love the shouty men. So I'm going to give it 10 shouty men out of 10. So yes.
So you like to be dominated by violent force then? Is that what you're saying?
I would like to thank everybody here for joining me. I would like to thank you for watching, dear Cher. Tell us below what you think of Enemy of the World, whether you think it's a 10, like I do, or whether you really hated it like Susie did.
I did not hate it.
Well,
An
you know,
8 is a very respectable mark.
we'll let Cher judge that for herself.
Cher knows perfectly well what I think. We
God help
talk
her.
every week.
So, just left us to say, we will see you next time. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the little bell, ding-a-ling-a-ling. Look after yourself. Oh, Susan's actually got a little bell.
That is very nice, Susan.
That's a tinker.
Oh, wow.
Mm,
Ding. Dinner.
she's all
Very good.
Literally.
asking her manservant to deliver the.
Go round to Susan's and hit that little bell. And in the meantime, we will see you next time. Look after yourself. Take care. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
You are the weakest link.